This is a brief tutorial on verifying ID and processing background checks. It's very important to remember that IDs must be verified before the background check is processed. We want to make sure that we're running a correct background check with the legal name of the prospective volunteer. So once an adult prospective volunteer has completed all of their required application steps, including uploading their ID and authorizing their background check, the system will automatically move their account to the contact completed status of VIPC space ID needs verification. So let's take a look at the steps that you as administrator will need to take in order to move the prospective volunteer forward to the next step of becoming a Red Cross volunteer. In the people listing, under the contact completed status column, we want to filter by VIPC space hyphen ID needs verification and enter. As always, we want to filter by longest days on path, but for the purpose of today's demo, I have pre-selected an account to work on. So we're going to be working on Stanley Parker. Again, as with any account, you do your analysis and then take the account to indicate you're working on it. And the next thing we'll need to do is take note of the exact spelling of Stanley Parker's name. And so if you don't feel like you're going to remember it, you can write it on a piece of paper for later reference. Notice that Stanley did not put in here Stan, that he put his full legal name. Next, we're going to scroll down to the background check section, and we're going to look at the status. If it's ready, we can go ahead and proceed in verifying the ID. Now, if it is something other than ready, green, yellow, blank, agreed, error, please refer to the job aid in the group share called Addressing Issues with Identification or Background Check. But since this one is ready, we will proceed to the Photo ID Actions section and we'll click on View. In this pop-up box may take a moment to load the picture. Once it's loaded, the first thing that we'll need to verify is that it is an acceptable form of ID. If it's a primary form of ID, we want to make sure that they've uploaded at least one. If it's a secondary form of ID, we'll need to make sure that there are two forms. There is a job aid in the group share that will show you a list of primary forms of ID and secondary forms of ID. Or you can actually use the little drop-down section as a quick cheat sheet. So in this case, Stanley has uploaded his driver's license, which is a primary form of ID. The next thing that we need to do is to verify that the name on the ID is an exact match and the name of the account detail page. Again, no nicknames allowed. So again, confirming that there's no misspelling, accidental changing of two letters, anything of that nature. And this is exactly the same. So once you have confirmed these two items, you can go ahead and select the qualification name. This is the US or foreign driver's license, and click Confirm. Before we do so, we just need to make sure that it's very important to be very thorough and careful with the steps, because once I do click confirm, this document will be purged from the system and will no longer be able to see it. If the ID does not match, it's not an acceptable form. There needs to be two forms, but only one was uploaded. You can't read it, or any other issue. Please, once again, refer to the job aid in the group share called Addressing Issues with Identification or Background Check. Once I refresh, notice again that the ID is gone, but that there is a documented note here that I verified the ID. Let me briefly show you what it looks like if someone was to have submitted two forms of ID. So you can see now there's an additional box with 1 and 2. So we would review the first form of document, and then we would review the second form. Again, following the same procedure with two documents. Immediately after verifying the ID, you will then process the background check. These two steps go together and should be done by the same VIPC member in sequential order if there's no issues with the ID verification. So after the ID is verified, we scroll down to the background check area. Again, we've already confirmed that it's at ready status, and then we want to right-click on the Manage Background Check and open in a new tab. All the way over to the right-hand side, under Actions, you'll see a Process button. We do want to give it enough time to make sure that this green banner across the top shows up. Sometimes if we close out too early, it may not process. Then we'll close this tab to go back to the account detail page and click Refresh. So then we're going to review the status of the background check. Since it is still processing, we'll go ahead and change the contact completed status to VIPC BGC in process and save. And we'll wait until it comes back. Although, please notice that if it does come back quickly as green, I'm just going to refresh it. Sometimes they do come back quickly. Notice that now it's green, and right before I changed it to BGC in process, there was an automatic message that had passed it to the Regional Volunteer Services. So if the status comes back quickly as green, then we can go ahead and change it back to. The system will do it automatically, but just be mindful of this. And then we'll go ahead and change it to pass to Regional Volunteer Services. Now this account has left the VIPC and is handed off to the local region to complete the remaining steps, admin steps of doing the screening and then referring and approving in the department. This concludes the tutorial on how to verify identification and process a background check. For issues with the ID or background check, please visit the group share for additional resources. Thank you for all you do.